Hi guys, welcome to my channel Windsor Medals. Today I'm going to be showing you how to swing mount 4 medals, full size and miniature size. So the process that I'm going to show you, you can obviously do that with either 2 medals, 3 medals, 5 medals or 6 medals. It's all pretty similar. It's just the fact that today we're going to do 4. So if you can do 4 and watch this video and learn that, you'll be able to do 3, 2, 5. So it's all good. So what you want to do to start with is make sure your medals are all nice and clean first. If you don't know how to clean medals, you can look on my channel. There's a video on there that shows you how to clean the medals. So once you've cleaned the medals, that's the first thing to do. So for swing mounted full size medals, you need 6 inches of ribbon. So if you just cut off about 6 inches, that'll be enough ribbon to mount it and be the correct size. So with the miniature ribbon, I think it's about 4.5 inches. Oh no, 5 inches. Yeah, between 4.5, 5, that'll be fine. So we'll take you on to the first process of mounting these medals now. Right guys, we're going to come on to the next part now, and that's sewing the ribbons onto the medals themselves. So I use this Merlin invisible stitch. It's really good. You can't see it, so it makes the end result look very smart. So what we want to do is get a finish. If you've got a medal with a ring on it, that the chevrons are equal each side, i.e. the angles the same on each side. It makes it a lot smarter than if the angles were different. And then we'll show you how to do the straight bar suspension as well. So we'll start with that with this Gulf medal here, Gulf War 1 medal. So this is the ribbon for that. So all you do is you thread your ribbon through the bar, pull it to the top, so the ribbons are equal at the top. And then all you do is you get your thread and your needle. I use Sharps, by the way, Sharps needles. You only need a small needle for this. And all you do is catch the side of the ribbon. You don't need to come in far into the ribbon, just literally like a millimetre or 2, and put a couple of stitches in the side of the ribbon there, just to hold it nice and tight. So to finish the stitch off, just come through the ribbon, and then all you do is wrap the thread round your needle 2 or 3 times and then pull it tight, and it creates a nice knot that won't come undone. So that's one side done. I just put a knot in the thread again, so when I pull it through, it'll anchor it in position. It's quite hard to see this thread, by the way, when you're putting a knot in it. So there you are, put a knot in it. So I'm just going to do the other side of this ribbon now. So we'll go to the other side, just come in about a millimetre and a half. Couple of stitches there at the side, like so, and then same detail, wrap your thread round your needle, pull it tight, put some nice knot in it, and then it won't move. And then that ribbon is really secure to that medal. You can pull it quite tight, it won't move either way, so it's anchored down really nice. I've done the other 2 already, save time. Falklands and the accumulated campaign service medal. So with a big medal, this is a Golden Jubilee with a ring on it, so we do it slightly different because the chevrons have got to be equal on each side, the angle, so it looks nice and smart. So I'll show you a trick of the trade now. So all we do is we mark the centre of the ribbon, put a chalk mark. I mean, you can see the line even without a chalk mark if you fold the ribbon over. but it's just easy with a chalk mark. And then all you do is you cut into the ribbon about 4 millimeters, like so, both sides, like so, like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold the ribbon in a minute. We're going to fold it up a third and then back over. I just put a knot in my thread ready to go so I can sew it straight away. Right, so here we go. So like I say, fold it over 1/3 of the width of the ribbon, like so, and then fold the other third back over. It's like you've got 3 plies of ribbon on top of each other, like that. And all you do is get your medal, thread it through the ribbon like that, and then just gently open the ribbon out like so, both sides gently, and then just manipulate the ribbons together, and then you get a nice chevron straight away. Can you see the angle there is really nice? And this is a good trick of the trade. If you try and do it without putting the nicks in the ribbon, you never get a perfect chevron. Or you can do, I suppose, but it's a lot easier doing it this way. So I'm just going to hold that side of the ribbon together because it's a nice angle. I don't have to pull it up or down a bit. I'm just going to anchor it off with a couple of stitches there at the side, like so. And then same detail again. Just wrap the thread around the needle 2 or 3 times, pull it tight, create a knot, chop it off, and it's really strong, it won't come undone. So if you look at that chevron, you notice this side's a tiny bit higher, so I'm going to pull it down a bit to make it equal. I'll just put a knot in my thread before I manipulate the angle of the ribbon. So before I sew it, I'm going to make sure I'm happy that the angle's equal. So the back needs just pulling down a bit, so you just put your thumb in there and pull it down a bit. This side, just pull it down a bit and then press it. Well, I've come too far down now, so I need to put it up a bit. Yeah, that's perfect. Right, so pinch it together with your thumb and finger, and then just put a couple of stitches on the side there. Just need to come in 1 millimeter. Like I say, this invisible thread's great because you can't notice it. The only way you'd notice it is if you get a magnifying glass out or you get really close and look carefully, but like I say, it's really good. Pull it tight like so, makes a nice knot, and chop it off like so. And then them chevrons, I think you'll agree, are nice and smart and equal at the front. So they're the big medals ready to go. This showing you the swing mounting of these 4 medals. I'm actually going to do it with machine stitch, how to do it with machine. I've done a couple of videos how to do it with your hand sewing only, and I will do another video on doing 5 medals hand sewn only, so you'll have to look out for that one. So we're just gonna, I've done these couple of miniatures already, so I'm gonna do the other 2 now. So same detail as the big medal, apart from you don't cut in to the ribbon, you fold it over a third and then back over it again. I'll just put a knot in my thread so I can straight away. Chop the excess thread off. So I folded it up a third, folded it down a third. The miniatures are a little bit more trickier than the big ones. So you thread your ribbon through to the centre and then just gently with your thumbs manipulate it. So when you pull the ribbons together, it'll be about equal. Yeah, that's about right. So I'm pretty happy with that to start with. The angle on my left is perfect, so I'm going to quickly anchor that down. couple of stitches at the side. 1, 2, and then I'm going to sew it off this time. So just wrap the thread round the needle 2 or 3 times, pull it tight, you get a knot, it's going nowhere. Trim it off. That side's anchored, so I need to do the same on the other side now. I'll just quickly put a knot in the thread. Then I'm going to look at the chevrons, see if they're equal or not. If they're not, manipulate them so they are. So I'll have a look at that now. Yeah, it just needs bringing down a little bit, I think. Just a touch with my finger there, just rolled it down a bit. That's better. Just squash it tight. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm happy with that they're equal. So all you do is put a couple of stitches again in that side, and that'll hold that nice and tight to that ring suspender. So I'll chop that off. There you go, nice and neat. So this medal's got a clasp on it that says former Yugoslavia. So all we got to do is just thread that through in place, ready to go. The bar just needs opening out a bit. It's clamped down for some reason. I'll just open it out a bit and then I can thread it through a lot easier. Should go straight down now. There you go. So that's in place, ready to go. And then the last miniature, same detail as the full size ones on a straight suspension bar. Just thread it through, and then you've just got to sew each side of the ribbon just above that bar to hold it in place. Right, here we go. Couple of stitches each side. I think you're getting the gist of this by now. For sewing the ribbons onto the medals, it's quite straightforward. They need to be anchored, firmed down for the process of how we swing mount medals, for it all to work out at the end, so it's all nice and neat and all the medals are all the same size. Right, I'm just going to sew the other side now. Couple of stitches, hopefully you can see this quite clearly. 1, 2, just I'm going to bring it through a third time, wrap the thread around the needle like so, pull it tight, make a knot. It anchors down really well, this nylon thread, and just chop it off. And then this Northern Ireland medal's got a clasp as well, so we'll put that on there, ready to go. Right, so after cleaning your medals, obviously chopping your ribbons out, ready to go, then the first process of swing mounting medals is the stage we got here, and that's all the medals with the ribbons on, sewn on, ready to go. So that's really the first and second stage. Cleaning medals, first stage, second stage, putting the ribbons on. Right guys, we're going to go on to the next stage now, and that's sewing the ribbons and medals onto the brooch. So we'll start with the full size medals first. So what we do, we draw a chalk mark on the ribbon at a specific size measurement. So then when you sew all the medals onto the brooch, when you've hand sewn them down, machine stitched them, they end up all looking equal and all the same size. So the chalk mark is 10.5 centimeters from the bottom of the medal to the chalk mark, so it doesn't matter what medal you've got on there. If it's a short bit of ribbon, it's a big medal, or a small medal, big ribbon. As long as you've got 10.5 centimeters, it'll all work out fine. So just measure your ribbon and put a little chalk mark there at 10.5 centimeters. So if you want to get a ruler, bit of chalk, put your mark on, and then you just chalk across at 10.5, like I just said. Nice clear mark there. I've marked these previously just to save time. So that's my second chalk mark. And that's the third chalk mark at 10.5. And then the Golden Jubilee's already done. So the miniatures are 6 centimeters from the bottom of the medal to the chalk mark. So put a mark on there and then just chalk across at 6 centimeters. So these are all 6 centimeters. Just measure from the bottom to the chalk mark there, and then just like I say, just chalk across, make a nice clear chalk line like so. So I've done those other two already, so they're all done. Right, okay, so we're going to machine stitch the ribbons and medals to the brooch now. So you can use an industrial sewing machine or a home sewing machine, both will work fine. By the way, the measurements are there if you forgot what they are. Full size 10.5, miniature 6 centimeters from the bottom of the medal to the chalk mark. So get your brooch. This is a 4-space brooch, so for it to work properly, turn your brooch upside down and then get the senior medal first and just thread it through the gap there on the brooch like so. So you can trim some of that ribbon off. We don't need all that ribbon, just about that much, just trim that off. So the most important thing is, for swing mounted medals, is to pull the front ribbon down about 8 millimeters like so. I'll just pinch that together so I can show you a close-up. So yeah, you can see there where I've pulled it down. So go to your machine, switch it on, put your needle in the ribbon. Always start when you're sewing, whatever you're doing, with your needle down. Do a back stitch. Oh no, my thread's bust. Don't like it when that happens. Bear with me a second. I'll just re-thread it quick. Hopefully it will thread quick. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Okay, it's not too bad. Right, so try again. I'll try not to get my hands and fingers in the way so you can see it better. Like I say, start with your needle in the ribbon, bit of a back stitch, and then come all the way along, and then a back stitch. Oh no, it's not sewing properly, so let me just try and fix this. Okay, we're going to try again. Needle in the ribbon, do a bit of a back stitch, come forward, do another back stitch. That's it, it's working fine. Trim your threads off, trim your ribbon off. You trim your ribbon off about 5-6 millimeters from your machine stitch, so then when you twist the brooch right round and the ribbon comes forward, you can't see the ribbon at the back. It's nice and clean finish. And as you can see, so we pulled the ribbon forward about 8 millimeters, so when the medal drops forward, because the ribbon's got to go a further distance at the front than the back, it fits nice and flush, as you can see. If we hadn't have done that, it'd have been all puckering like so. So that's the reason why we do it. So we start with the senior medal first, furthest away from you, then we get the next medal in line, which in this case is the Gulf War 1. Just trim a bit of ribbon off there, thread the ribbon through the brooch, go to your machine, pull your ribbon about 8mm forward, and then machine it. Start with a back stitch, come all the way along your chalk mark, make sure you go on your chalk mark, another back stitch, and then chop your thread off. Yeah, be careful that you do actually machine on the chalk mark, not above, not below, because if you do that, the medals won't be straight and equal distance from the top to the bottom. That's why we do this with the chalk mark. So Golden Jubilee next, trim a bit of ribbon off there, don't need all that. Thread it through your brooch. So this is a junior medal, it's the Falklands and the Gulf, so that's the nearest to me. So I've pulled it 8mm forward, back stitch, come straight across, back stitch, trim your thread, trim your ribbon, and then your junior medal is next. So that's how you'll tell that it's all going to work out properly, where the medals are going to be in the right positions. Is the senior medals furthest away from you, and then the junior closest to you. So thread it through the brooch again, lie it down flat, pull it down 8mm like so, then put it on the machine, back stitch to start with, come straight across, back stitch again, and just trim your thread off like so, trim that ribbon off. So now if we hold these up like so, just spread the ribbons out a bit, you can see they're taking shape already now. You can see they're pretty much equal. See, they're pretty perfect there. They all line up equal, every medal. That's because we use the chalk mark method. So that's the full size ready to go. The next stage is we'll hand sew them with that invisible stitch to finish the job off. Right, okay, let's do the miniatures now. So we've got a 4-space brooch there for miniatures. It's pretty much the same as what we did with the full size one, slightly different, so I'll just talk you through it. So we'll get the senior medal first, so we'll trim it off. There's a bit too much ribbon there, like so, and then you hold your brooch upside down with the point of the pin towards you, and you put the senior medal the furthest away from you. So you thread it through that last gap there like so, and then same detail, you pull the front ribbon down over the back ribbon. So on the miniatures I don't pull it down as far, I'll just measure it. So I've pulled it down, yeah, about 5mm. So same detail as the big ones, I'm just going to machine straight across the ribbon. Back stitch to start, and then straight across, back stitch to finish. Pull it to one side, trim your threads off like so, and then trim that excess ribbon off, so then it won't be visible at the back. It will just be a nice finish at the back like so. Right, okay, so I think you're going to start getting the gist of this. Next, it's going to be the next senior medal. Trim your ribbon off a bit, thread your ribbon through that next hole like so. Go to your machine, pull your ribbon down, get it in position, and then machine straight across it. Back stitch, straight across, back stitch, same detail, trim your threads off and your ribbon like so. So we've got the 2 Jubilee medals now to put on. So the next senior medals, the Golden Jubilee. So trim it off, thread it through the brooch like so. Pull it forward about 5mm, machine it across. So if you was wondering why we sew the medals to the ribbons at the start with the invisible stitch, it just holds it all steady and the ribbons don't move when you come down to sewing them on, the invisible stitch at the back. If you didn't sew the medals at the front here, it just wouldn't work properly. It's just a good method of doing it. So Diamond Jubilee next, trim it off, thread it through, and plus it holds the chevrons nice and neat as well. And like I say, if you didn't do that method, sewing them down there, the chevrons just wouldn't look neat, they'd look horrible. So I'm just pulling down this ribbon, I'm going to machine straight across. By the way guys, if you're watching this and you're confused about anything, got any questions, don't hesitate, please just send me the question and I'll answer you. Right, so I'm just going to trim that off. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, help me to grow the channel, that'd be brilliant. Right, so that's the miniatures done. So if I just manipulate them round a bit forward, they're looking pretty good already, like the big ones. Look, they're all equal from top to bottom. That's because we've sewn here invisible, put a chalk mark, and it just all works out nice. Right, okay, we've come down to the fun bit now, sewing them to the brooch at the back. So you can see that that's just flapping in the wind, so we need to secure that down firm to finish the job. So before you do that, just make sure that you've pulled the ribbons down at the front, so it's all nice and flush and flat. If there is any like discrepancies in the height of the medals, you can compensate a bit. For example, if that Golden Jubilee was a bit short, you can give it a bit more of a pull down and it will generally just make that gain to make it level. So I'm happy that I've pulled them all down nice there, ready to sew. So like I say, we use the nylon thread, the invisible stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first stitch in here where the little holes are in the brooch there. So you just get your needle, use a small needle, a sharp, and just catch a tiny bit of the ribbon there and just come through the hole. So you do 1 stitch, 2 stitch. Try not to catch too much of the ribbon when you're sewing, because if you do, you'll see it on the front. So when you've put a couple of stitches in, just wrap the thread around the needle a few times and then just pull it tight, and then it will just anchor it down. So you just move along the brooch, go to your next hole, same process, just catch a tiny bit of the ribbon, not too much, and then just put a couple of stitches in there. It can be quite fiddly. Sometimes the thread gets wrapped around the medals, it all becomes a bit of a mare, but if you're patient, you can untangle it and then it'll be fine. So I put a couple of stitches in there. I'm just going to tie it off now. Wrap the thread round the needle and then pull it tight. So I'm happy with that first medal there, it's anchored in place. If you've got sort of flat surface, you can just check that the medals are all straight and equal. So I can just see that that Bosnia medal there just needs pulling down a tiny fraction. So I'm just pulling it down a tiny fraction, and then I'll just check again. Yeah, it's exactly the same now. So I've pulled it down a bit. I'm just going to come on to the next hole. Same detail, just catch a tiny bit of the ribbon, then go through the hole, one stitch, two stitch, I'll put one more in. Like I say, you only need to catch a tiny bit of the ribbon. I've wrapped it round the needle. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the next hole on the brooch, catching a tiny bit of the ribbon. I shouldn't say I haven't tangled it all up yet, because if I do, it's going to tangle up. It often does, but it's going pretty well. So I put a couple of stitches in there, I'm just going to put one more in. I'm just going to catch the tiniest bit of the ribbon. Like I say, if you catch too much of the ribbon, you can see it through the front side of the ribbon. It doesn't look as nice. So I've sewn the first two miniatures down, so they're all nice and equal. So I'm going to do the Golden Jubilee medal now. Just make sure that it's all nice and straight. I need to pull it down a bit, it's a bit high. So you can, if you can actually grab the front of the ribbon a bit and then just pull it forward, and it'll bring it down more. That's it, it's brought it down nicely. So I'm just going to sew that in now. I'm happy with it. Don't be scared of pulling and pushing these ribbons, getting them all nicely lined up and neat. So I've just caught a bit of the ribbon there, one stitch, two stitch, one more, wrap it round your needle, make a knot. I'm going to do that again. Okay, and then move on to the next hole. Catch a bit of the ribbon, pull it tight, another bit of the ribbon, another stitch, put one more stitch in, wrap it round the needle to finish it off, pull it tight, keep checking as you're going along, it's all nice and straight, the medals are all equal. So you notice I started sewing from the outside to the inside. That's the way I do it. I suppose, I don't know if you're left-handed, you do it the other way, but that's the way I do it. If you find it easier doing it the other way, then that's fine. So on the Diamond Jubilee ribbon, I'm just going to catch a tiny bit of the ribbon. And then I'm going to go through the hole, one stitch, two stitch, put one more in, and then I'm going to wrap it around the needle, pull it tight, and all I've got to do is the last hole now. So it's a bit fiddly, like I say, so I'm just trying to get the angle where you guys can see as well, so it's making it a bit more tricky for me, so I'm a bit skew with. So I've just picked up a tiny bit of the ribbon up, gone through the hole, just going to pick another tiny bit of the ribbon up, two stitches, and then three, and then pull it tight like so. Then to finish off, sometimes to stop the ribbon gaping like that. I don't know if you can see, I just put a tiny little stitch at the side there just to hold it flat. Just come in 1 millimetre, 1 stitch, and then just wrap it round your needle like so. Then pull it tight, anchors off, cut it off, and then you can see it's like a lovely little finish there at the side, nothing's gaping. So I'll do it the other side, although it is anchored down there, I will just put another stitch on that side. So if you want to try and do your own miniatures for a mess function, you want to do them swing mounted and you've got a machine, then why not have a go? It will save you a few pounds. So I'm just going to do that on the edge. If you want to get brooches, metal brooches, you can get them on the internet quite easily. eBay, there's lots of medal mounting companies, or even Windsor Medals, we sell them. So they are very accessible to get the brooches. Oh, spoke too soon. I said I was going to get tangled, didn't I? Let's just detangle this. Yeah, you can get these brooches pretty easy. So, and that's the same for the ribbons as well. So that was my last stitch. So if you've got clasps on the miniatures, just make sure they're not conflicting. So I'm just going to raise that former Yugoslavia bar up there. If there is a tiny discrepancy between the lengths, you can pull and push them a little bit just to make them perfectly lined up. But you can see there that that's not a bad little job there. Nice and neat at the front, nice and neat at the back, and it's just a good system. Sewing them at the front, invisible stitch at the sides, doing your chalk mark, and then machining them, then doing your invisible stitching, and you can't see no stitching on it, so it's a great finish. So there you go. Right, okay, we've done the miniatures, so we're going to do the full size now. Like I said earlier on, if you just follow this method, you don't have to have had to do 4 medals like this video. You could do 2, 3, 5. It's the same system, so you will be able to do it with different numbers of medals, but like I say, in this occasion it is 4 medals. Right, so okay, we're going to sew these down now. So the most important thing is, because there's more ribbon than the size of the gap in the brooch, they're a bit bunched together. So what we need to do is, if you can see there the Falklands ribbon there, that needs to be flush to the edge of the brooch. So there's a little trick of the trade that I'll show you now how to achieve that. So hopefully you can see the line of stitching there quite easily. So all I'm going to do is going to cut in above that stitching there 2 millimeters, just where that pen is, and then that just helps the ribbon then go to the end of the brooch. So I'll cut it and then I'll show you. Don't know if you can see that. There you go. I've just cut in there, literally. Don't cut the stitching, just cut above the stitching and watch. Hey presto, it goes to the end of the brooch. Good trick, eh? And you can see where I've cut into it. I cut into it just there, so it just allows it to go to the end of the brooch. So I hope I've explained that well, so you can understand and see how it works. So we'll do the other side now. So on the accumulated campaign service ribbon here, I need to do the same thing. So with the pin pointing down towards the floor and the ribbons like so, just put your scissors in there and then just like cut in 2-3 millimeters, and then that literally brings the ribbon flush to the end. And you can see again better on this example, that's where I cut, if you can just see there. So it fits nice and flush. Now the ribbons should sit side by side. You see how they're sitting side by side now? Before, the one that was all bunched up, so it's a lot better fit. You can just see how much the ribbons are fitting together. I'm just looking at this, something's annoying me. See all these loose threads here, so just get your scissors, just trim them off before you start sewing, because they just get in the way and it doesn't look good. Right, so I've trimmed them off. So same detail as the miniatures. Make sure all the ribbons are pulled down at the front so they all fit nice and flush, and the medals are all equal. So I've got a flat surface here. You can see that's pretty good, isn't it? And it's only worked because of the method we've used with the chalk line and sewing the ribbons here, so you get a neat chevron. It just wouldn't work if you didn't do that method. So right, let's try and quickly sew these down. You saw the method, it's exactly the same as the miniatures. So you start at the senior end, catch a tiny bit of ribbon, put a couple of stitches in. Like I say, don't go too deep into the ribbon, because you end up, the front of the ribbon doesn't look smart. You get indentations in the front. So that's 2 stitches, put 3 in, just do 1 more for good luck, and then wrap the thread round the needle. Hopefully you guys are seeing this pretty clear, and then that anchors that down. Don't be scared of keep stopping, manipulating your ribbon so it's all straight. So you want the ribbon to be flush to the end of the brooch. So I'm just going to move down to the next hole, like so. Oops, this is what I was saying, it can get a bit, oh no, it's come undone. Right, okay, 2 stitches, like so, and then go on to the last hole, catch a bit of ribbon, 1 stitch, 2 stitch. Don't be scared of stopping, making sure it's all lined up. 1 last stitch, and then wrap it round your needle, pull it tight, anchor it off. As you're going along, just keep stopping, checking it's all lined up, looking good. You can see on that ribbon, I hope, that there's no indentations there, and that's, like I said, because I'm only picking a little bit of the ribbon up on the inside. If you pick a big bit up, you'll see a big indentation in the ribbon. Right, so I'm going to go on to the Gulf medal now. Pick a bit of the ribbon up, two stitches, 3, wrap it off around the needle, pull it tight, go on to the next hole, just pick a bit of the ribbon up, 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch, wrap it around the needle, pull it tight, anchor it off. Just keep checking it's all nice and neat. Okay, so we're going to go to this last hole now. Pick a bit of the ribbon up, 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch, wrap it around the needle, pull it tight, keep checking, looking, it's all looking nice and straight. So we can go on to the Golden Jubilee now. If you've got any loose threads, just chop them off. Right, I'm going to go on to the next hole. Right, okay, I'm coming on to the last 2 holes of the brooch, just making sure everything's lined up nice and neatly. Just catch a tiny bit of the ribbon. It's awkward until you get used to it, but if you do it quite a lot, you'll get used to it. So I'm just putting a couple more stitches in this second to last hole. Right, so I'm going to tie that off there. I'm going to come to my last hole now. Just make sure it's all lined up nice. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the ribbon, 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch. I'm going to tie it off, and then, like the miniatures, I'm going to put a stitch at the side because it's flapping, bit gaping there, that front ribbon. Just hold it down nice and neat. So you only need to come in 1 millimetre on the edge, 1 stitch, 2 stitch, wrap it around your needle. It's very pliable, this nylon thread, anchors off really nice when you pull it tight. Just trim it off like so. And I'm going to do the same for the Falklands there, because you can see the ribbons gaping at the side, so we just need to anchor that down. If you look at the ribbons, it's not too bad. I've not come through to the front. There's no like indentations hardly, so it makes it a lot neater. So it's not a bad job really. So I'm just gonna thread that up and just put the last stitch in here. Hopefully you can see that I'm a bit skew width. So 1 stitch, 2 stitch, and then 3 stitch there. Brilliant. So they're all level, all neat at the front, all neat at the back, all level. Great system, works really nice. I'll just put this rosette on quickly. So basically you just got to come from the inside to the outside through the holes both sides. I won't talk you through this one, I'll fast forward it. So I'll speak to you in a second. I'll just sew it on. So to finish off the rosette, I've put a couple of stitches on either side, just grab a bit of the ribbon, put it through like so, wrap it around your needle a few times, you know the score now, just pull it tight and anchor it off. By the way, when you're using needles, please be careful. I've used needles for 25-30 years and I'm still stabbing myself. Look, I've just stabbed myself there, so just be careful, guys. So I quickly sewed that rosette on there. It could have been a little bit higher, but it's just showing you as a sample. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully you understand the mechanics of this swing mounting of medals. Please ask questions if you've got any queries. Like I say, 4 medals, 3 medals, 2 medals, 5 medals, it's all the same system. Just follow what I've shown you and you'll be able to do a pretty decent job. So like I say, you could put them, wear them, and they're really neat, not going to fall to pieces, and it looks great. So I'm glad that you've watched this video. If you've got to the end, like I say earlier, please subscribe to help me grow this channel. I'll be bringing lots of tailoring content, lots of videos about British medals and British militaria. So hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.